enemies. And if you haven't prepared the kit and you go into an emergency situation and you reach into what you think is going to be there and it isn't, that's when all hell breaks loose. Just a little bit of history. My first experience of that was when I got out the ambulance with this bag, and my colleagues can probably remember, as you hold the handle, it can spin literally 360 degrees. And I literally just left all the contents in a long trowel up to the house and had to get my mate to go back and pick up all the pieces. They were never particularly... And there we go. There's the case in point. So that was what we got, what we had. There was a driver one and an attendance one, as it was in those days. So just on the point of this bag, I think it's worth a word of caution. This seems to be made up of Velcro. So in terms of getting into it, that's your first challenge when you're dealing with a cardiac arrest. Your second challenge, where it will become your worst enemy, because remember I said it could be your friend and your enemy, is when it gets stuck to the carpet. And again, you'll attempt to lift it up, and you'll probably take 3 of the patient's carpet tiles with you as you attempt to put it back into the vehicle. Alright, so good luck with all your kits. Be very proud to carry the new bag. We hope you use your tools and everything you put in it and put it to good use. And who knows, you might even save somebody's life. So well done to you all, and we're going to now proceed with a couple of little speeches from Chris and myself about your academic progress through the 3 years. Thank you very much.
I just want to take, for those of you at the front, I just want to take you back to yesterday, to Module 2 of the PPED. I'm a bit nervous now. I'll tell you why I'm a bit nervous, because thinking about what Andy's done up on this board, I'd like you to think about feedback, and I'd like you to see that it's Andy, then me, then Andy. And I'm thinking about a sandwich. Andy asked me today if I could say a little something about the St George's course at the end of their 3rd year, and had a little think about what might be the right thing to say, and obviously we change slightly what we say every year. I think probably for this course the main thing that I'd like to say is one of the most important things about being a paramedic is the ability to adapt to change. And I think, and this will probably go very much for drainage as well, one of the main things this course has had to deal with during the 3 years is change. Some of it quite upsetting change. They've had to deal with things like starting believing they were going to be paid for the 1st year, and then finding out they weren't going to be paid. And I can only imagine the sort of pressure and stress that must have put on some of the students sitting here. They've had to deal with things like a skill which we believe to be quite a vital paramedic skill being removed, and I hope they know that the trainers in this room fought to try to help them keep that skill, because we appreciate how important it is. But there's some things that we can't change, so we do appreciate the fact that that has been taken away from you and how important that actually is. But that is not what makes you a paramedic. What makes you a paramedic is, first of all, the ability to be a good technician. Never forget that. It's about knowing when to open your paramedic bag. That is when you become a good paramedic. That's that knowledge. And I'm sure already some of you are developing that. It's the ability to take the skills that you've learnt and pass them forward, which is why yesterday and the day before we were looking at you people here becoming the future mentors, and I think that's very important. And one last change that I'd like to mention is the fact that the folks at the back, you'll notice that some of the students sitting here are already wearing paramedic, and that the St George's students won't be receiving paramedic bags. That's not because we've run out of money, not on the paramedic bags anyway, maybe on a few other things. It's because the way the contracts have worked out, the St George's students are already out there practicing as paramedics, and very shortly the Greenwich students will be following, which is why we can actually present the the Greenwich students with their bags, but the St George's students, we were going to ask them to bring them all in and try and pick them up. I understand they're getting quite heavy already. I've got a slightly bad back at the moment, and I wasn't going to pick them all up and hand them out. So just so that you understand, they will only be receiving certificates, but that is because they're already out there doing it. And it's good to see that at the end of the course, you can be out there so quickly practicing. It was actually February of this year that some of last year's students actually began practicing as paramedics. So just remember that for your coming career, there will be a lot of change, and you will have to adapt. Continue to adapt in the way you have so far, and I'm sure you will be very successful as paramedics. Well done for all of your hard work. I'm very proud to have taught you. Well done. Hand over to Andy Summers for the other piece of bread.
And this is from...
Smile.
Daniel, please.
Don't milk it.
Just where you are. Yeah. That's grand. See, Steve takes the cue and moves off. Parents, if you want to come around.
Alex.
He's a popular chap.
It's just a miracle.
Alex, turn the face with it.
Never thought it'd make it.
That's the last thing
Sorry about the pause.
Just where you are. That's grand.
Sammy.
Well done, Sammy. Turn there. Lovely. Put your shoulder in, Steve. That's it. Lovely.
Sinead. Kate. Danny.
just move slightly. That's it. Otherwise we have the edge of the board growing out your head. Lovely, thank you.
Nice,
Ross.
Hold it up a bit higher, Ross. That's great, thank you.
Well done, Ross.
Alright.
Emily.
I'm going to stand up.
Oh, delirious.
Hold it up a little more. That's it. Not the face. Up a little. That's it. Good.
Standing ovation for myself.
And for St George's, last but by no means least, Melissa.
Go on, Melissa. Go on.
You got sorry.
To keep going on, things like that. So I'm going to get pretty much direct to the point. This is the student of the course award. That is not voted by the tutors or anything like that. None of us get involved in it. It simply comes from the students themselves, from your peers, and is highly valued by the tutors in relation to the course awards. And it's probably one of the most important actually that we give out on the day. So without further ado, I'm going to do the Greenwich student of the course first, and that student is Kelly Cousins. And without further ado, the student of the course for St George's is Michael Fletcher.
Just wait a sec.
And there's some people that aren't here, so maybe you can say
Hold them up, boys.
We're telling me to go.
And you want to be there on yours?
Train for a few years. Times 2 does it say? I think it's times 3 now.
You look like my big dot crown around your head.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Go on, Kate, do it, Kate.
Oh, and also for our head people. Oh, I haven't got your head.
Kate, say something. Kate.
We want to look after you.
Chris, don't run off.
Yes, we do. We've got chocolates for them all.
Man,